Okay, this is the second benchmark review for 8th grade. 8th grade benchmark 2 review. Okay. At least for 2022 to 2023. Okay, so this was a Jeopardy style game, but I do want to make a video setting up each question. Okay, with functions, remember something is a function if the answer is yes to are the x's all different. And so we look at the x's, which are always the domain or the right side bubble. And 1, 4, and 9 are each used once because they only have one arrow coming out of it. So ask yourself, are the x's all different? If the answer is yes, it's a function. If the answer is no, it is not a function. Cool. Another way we looked at mapping diagrams to see if something was a function was we wrote the ordered pairs. So we said 2 maps to 20. So one of the ordered pairs is 220. 4 maps to 15. 4, 15. 6 maps to 20. So we have 620. 8 maps to 20. So we have 820. Now remember the question for functions is, are the x's all different? So you look at your x values. Are they all different? If yes, a function. If no, not a function. Okay. Same thing for number 3. I would write out the ordered pairs. -1 maps to -1. -1 also maps to 2. 1 maps to -1. And 2 maps to 0. Look at all the x values. Ask yourself, are the x's all different? Are the x's all different? If the answer to that is yes, it's a function. No, non-function. Okay. Next we have a list of ordered pairs, and it wants us to determine whether each one is, whether it's a function or not represented with these ordered pairs. So you're asking yourself, are the x's all different? So you're looking at just the x values. Remember, ordered pairs are x, comma, y, so you're looking at the first number there. Ask yourself, are they all different? If yes, it's a function. No, non-function. For graphs, we had to pass the vertical line test. So from the start of the graph to the end of the graph, you draw a bunch of vertical lines, and if it hits the picture of the graph more than once on any line, it would fail the vertical line test. So remember, to be a function, we have to pass the vertical line test. I've got another graph, so I'm looking to see it'll be a function if it passes the vertical line test. So from the start to the end of the x values, now I draw a bunch of vertical lines. And if the graph hits the picture more than once on a vertical line, it would fail the vertical line test. And to be a function, we have to pass the vertical line test. Next we have, we talked about inequalities and equations. So first we have to, these are ones where all questions where we had to write an inequality or an equation. So here we've got in Brownsville, Texas, it's 88 degrees Fahrenheit, and the temperature is expected to drop 1.5 degrees each hour. In Mesquite, Texas, it's 94 degrees, and the temperature is expected to drop 2 degrees each hour. We want to know in how many hours will the temperature in Mesquite be greater than the temperature in Brownsville. So we want Mesquite to be greater than Brownsville. Okay, so Mesquite was the stuff I had in the squiggly underline, and it starts at 94 and drops 2 degrees each hour. Since the question is asking in how many hours, the thing we don't know is hours. So x, our variable, will tell us about hours. Now everywhere in our word problem we go replace hours with x. So this is 2x. And because it's dropping, we can say minus 2x. Now let's look at Brownsville. That's everything I had in the normal underline. 88 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature is dropping 1.5 each hour. I'll place the word hour with x. So we have 1.5x. And 88 degrees was where it began. And we're dropping 1.5 degrees every hour, so that would be a minus. So then whatever you have for n, squiggly underline stuff, sorry, you'd replace here. Whatever you have for Brownsville, you'd replace here. And then make sure the greater than inequality is between those. And remember, these questions were just writing the inequalities. Okay, looking at inequalities and equations for 200. It says the cost for a large cheese pizza at Pizza Palace is $10 plus $1.25 for each additional topping. The cost for a large pizza at Luigi's, though, is $8 plus $1.75 for each additional topping. We want to write an inequality for what number of toppings Luigi's pizza is less expensive than Pizza Palace. So we want Luigi's to be less than Pizza Palace. And this is an inequality for the number of toppings. Since we don't know the number of toppings, that means x is the number of toppings. The thing we don't know is the number of toppings. Okay, so remember we want Luigi's to be less than Pizza Palace. Luigi's has to be less, so it gets the pointy side of the inequality. And now I'll go through and look at everything for Luigi and everything for Pizza Palace. The cost for this first stuff is Pizza Palace is $10 plus $1.25 for each additional topping. But toppings are the letter x, so I'll replace this with the letter x. So that's 10 plus 1.25x. We have 10 is where we start with our pizza at Pizza Palace. And we have to add $1.25 for each topping. Each is the letter x. Or sorry, additional topping is the letter x. Okay. The cost of a large pizza at Luigi's, so now we're in Luigi's business, is $8 plus $1.75 for each additional topping. Each additional topping is the letter x. So for Luigi, we have an $8 pizza, but we're adding $1.75x, $1.75 for each additional topping. Replace everything we know about Luigi on that side of the inequality. Replace what we know about Pizza Palace on that side of the inequality and have the correct symbol between them. It's an inequality, so we only have to write the inequality. That's what the instructions said anyways. And now we're on inequalities and equations for 300. The table compares cell phone plan rates for two companies. We want to write an inequality that can be used to determine the number of months it would take for Cell Sensation to cost the same or more as Cell Nation. Okay, so we have an initial fee and a monthly rate. The thing we don't know was the number of months. So the monthly rate is what gets the x's. Okay. It would take for Cell Sensation, so that's this one, to cost the same or more. Cell Sensation has to be the same, which is equal or more, so that would get the open side of the inequality, than Cell Nation. Okay. Use the other two questions we just set up to help you determine for Cell Nation what expression you'd have on that side and what expression you'd have for Cell Sensation on that side. Remember, I have the x by the monthly rate because the question had said determine the number of months, meaning we didn't know the number of months, and if we don't know something in math, we can replace it with the letter x. Next, we have an inequality to write about this lunch account stuff. It says Susan has a balance of $110 in her school lunch account, and she spends $6 per day on her lunch. Her sister Evelyn has $84 in her lunch account, and she spends $4 per day on lunch. We want to write an equation this time to determine in how many months will Susan's lunch be the same as Evelyn's. Since this is an equation, I know that the two parts have an equal sign between them. So now I just go back and read about Susan's balance and Evelyn's balance. This is to write an equation to determine in how many days. So X represents the days. So everywhere we see something talking about days, we replace it with X. $110 is just what Susan starts with. Susan starts with 110, but she spends 6 per day. So instead of 6 per day, I can say 6x. She's spending that, so it would be a minus. So for Susan, we'd write 110 is what she starts with, and we're taking out $6 for every day she buys lunch. Okay. Use that information to help you write Evelyn's side of the equation, and then this one you just have to write the equation. So no need to solve it. Now we are on the 5th question here. Satellite Image charges a monthly rate of $120. We Are Dish charges a monthly rate of $150 and offers a one-time sign-up discount for $100. We want to write an inequality that can be used to determine the number of months it would be more cost-effective for someone to use Satellite Image as their cable television provider. Okay, we talked about cost-effective towards the beginning of the year. Cost-effective means it is more ideal for me to go there because it costs less money. I save more money there. So if we need Satellite Image to be more cost-effective, then Satellite Image has to be less than the other company. The other company was We Are Dish. Okay. The next thing we're going to help you with is, this says an inequality. We got the inequality set up to determine the number of months. So anywhere we see the word months, we can replace it with X. Satellite charges a monthly rate of $120. And We Are Dish charges a monthly rate of $150, but has a one-time sign-up discount of $100. So the monthly rate is $120, so $120 goes with X. Let me just turn that off. Okay. So $120 goes with X for Satellite Image. We Are Dish charges a monthly rate of $150. So 150 goes with the word monthly, so that would be 150x. And they offer a one-time sign-up discount of $100. Now, discount is money you don't have to pay, so that would be minus. So then just replace what we know about Satellite Image and We Are Dish with the correct inequality symbol between them. The next question says the Beanery charges $14.99 per pound for its gourmet coffee and offers a $2.50 coupon good towards the total purchase. The Brewmaster charges $13.49 per pound for its coffee and offers a $1 off coupon towards the total purchase. We want to write an inequality, so I'm using one of those inequality symbols, right, to determine the number of pounds of coffee. So that's the thing we don't know. That we have to purchase from the brewmaster to save money. So we're saving money at the brewmaster. If we save money there, we spend less there. So this is the less hand side. And then the Beanery would be the other side. Okay, and the other thing this told us was that we are determining the number of pounds of coffee. So X is the pounds of coffee. Okay, so the Beanery, I'll help you set up the Beanery side, and then you guys can set up the Brewmaster side. The Beanery charges $14.99 per pound of coffee, so that's going to be the X. $14.99 goes with X, and then offers a $2.50 off coupon. It's a coupon, which means that's going to be money that takes off of our purchase, so this is a minus. So for the Beanery, I'd say 14.99x minus 2.5. You guys can set up the Brewmaster, make sure that inequality symbol is facing the correct direction. That is all I'm going to do in this video. This is just inequalities and equations. Next, we'll look at solving equations.